So it is weaning day, move out day for Holly's kits, or at least some of Holly's kits. So, let's talk a little bit about weaning. When is it time to wean? Well, you can wean as early as 4 weeks old. I typically do not. You are probably a little bit more prone to weaning enteritis, digestive issues, things like that. If you're weaning more towards the 4-week age, some people do it successfully. I've found that 5 to 6 is a little bit better. Everybody continues to be happy in the cage. We've got plenty of room and all that, but by come about 6 weeks like we are now, Holly, she's a good mom. She certainly isn't aggressive towards everybody, but has her need for them is diminished, which is, it's important not to think of our rabbits like human mothers and babies. They don't have that kind of bond. They are designed to breed, and the kits are designed by nature to be independent. You see a lot of people that are posting, oh, I found this baby rabbit and I'm saving it. Well, most of those are actually going to die because, wild rabbits actually don't do well in captivity. And usually what they're seeing is not an abandoned rabbit at all. That's a rabbit that the mother has left the nest for the day to go eat and feed, and she would come back and rear them later. That's an aside. But back to weaning. Some of the things, when I decide it's time to start weaning, I look for, size of the rabbits, the cage in general. Are they starting to get a little bit crowded? Yeah, they're starting to get a little bit crowded in here. So it's time to give everybody some space. But you kind of start to see also, and some of this occurs from birth, but when you start to see larger discrepancies between the sizes and weights, that could be due to competition. None of these are bad looking animals, but you definitely have a couple that appear larger than the others. Another issue is, how is your feed and water keeping up throughout the day? Now we're keeping up okay, but I do come out in the evening and top everything off because, otherwise I'll come out in the morning and everything is completely dry and empty. So we don't want that. We want food in front of these grouts the whole time, for mom too, because even though we don't want to create fat mothers, we do want to keep our breeding does in good condition. And if she's nursing or, food is limited, she's not going to be able to do that. So at this point, they're all requiring quite a bit of food and water. And for me to add more food and water dishes to this cage would make it even that much more crowded. So rather than do that, everybody's looking great. It's just time to start moving them out. Now, I have moved entire litters all at once. That's not a problem. She's probably not nursing them much anyway. Her milk supply is going to respond to the demand, so she will dry up just like a cow or any other kind of mammal, even a human. The less demand, the less usage, she will gradually reduce in production. She's probably been reducing now. I can't say that I've seen any of these actually nursing. Not that you will always see that, but I haven't seen that in quite a while. So, again, now, if you saw that the doe was really bothered, irritated, or certainly if she was showing any aggression to them, definitely time to just get them out of there. We're not seeing any of that, but again, just time to start creating some room, and also time because I am going to breed her possibly today, very soon. Now, I do often breed while there are still kits in the cage. For instance, I might breed her back at 4 weeks, and these kits might stay in here another week or two, and then they get moved off, and she has a break of 2 weeks before the next litter is born. I don't need to produce that intensively because I do have so many does, so I'm just letting her go the full 6 weeks till they're weaned here. I'll breed her now, and then she'll have a full month off, which will also help her maintain body weight and condition. She is an older doe, so that's another reason that I don't want to breed her too intensively. But that's my own personal schedule. Everyone has there are ranges and different options there. Just something to discuss while we're kind of on the subject. So typically what I will do is I will come in here and I'll find, a couple of the larger kits, maybe 2 or 3, depends on the litter, depends how great the size differences are in them. I do have some size difference, nothing that I think is too offensive, but there are some, like this white one over here is on the larger side. That is one that I will move up to the other cage, and probably that other broken back there. And you know, and then tomorrow another one or two will come out, and then the next day the remaining ones will. It'll give the smaller ones a couple extra days with mom and her rich milk, if in fact she is still nursing them. If not, it gives them a couple days with a little less feed competition in here. So when I move them, they will move right up here to this cage. This is a kind of a transition cage. I'm not going to sex these and separate them now. I will do that in about 2 weeks' time. They'll move over to grow out cages, just because, more or less, not that they couldn't go straight to their own individual grow out cages now. I have done that as well. But mostly it's a management issue. There's plenty of room. There's no need for them to have to be all separated out just yet. So, you know, it's one cage for me to maintain instead of 6 at this point. So I do prepare the cage before they come in, bedding in the drop pan, water dish, feed dishes. These actually are not my favorite Crocs because I don't really love how they stick out into the cage like this, but they are kind of nice for the grow outs. Because as we talked about in a video before, you know, the little ones like to get in their dishes and eat and poop, and then you're wasting and making messes of feed that just doesn't need to be done. So these Crocs are small enough that they can't get in them. They are raised up a little bit too, so they're just a little less apt to climb in, I find, when they're raised up a little bit. And they twist and pop right off to be able to dump them out. And then that can set right back down in there if they need to be cleaned or anything like that. So simple. We've got hay, water, feed, all the things they're used to. And this might be a fun trick one-handed, if I can get my hands on some of the targets. I might move them now. This little black is another one that's had some good size to them, that you know, comparable to the larger ones that might move up. Again, I'm not that particular, so if I don't get the bigger like I wanted, then that's okay too. So move this one up and in, you know, happy. And I'm going to go for, I think probably the white and the black are pretty comparable, so I'll move the black for today. And then tomorrow that other white will probably come up, you know, and they're going to sniff around, they're going to check things out, and they're going to figure out that this is basically the same setup. They got food, water, all the things they want. You can see we're already going to them. Everybody's happy. This obviously is not a stressful move for them. And these guys, you know, kind of life is normal. And I will continue again to wean these down over the next couple days, but by the end of the week, she will be alone in her cage, and they will all be together up in that transition cage. So that's that. For more on this, we've got articles at meetrabbits.org. I hope you'll come on over there. You know, leave any comments or questions either on this video or at the website. The articles go into sometimes a little more detail, things I might have forgotten to mention in a video, so we welcome you there, and it'd be good to see you there. And just before we leave, one aside too, we do have Aster's kits over here that are also 6 weeks. They're a little bit smaller. She's only a second-time doe, so nothing I'm concerned about. It's more in comparison here. I'm going to probably give them a couple few extra days, and then I'll be doing the same thing. I have another transition cage up here that they can go into then. So that's that. Thanks for watching. Hope it helped, and let us know your questions and comments.